There are growing concerns over how the 13% derivation funds meant for oil-producing communities are being used by the governors of the 9 Niger Delta states. The 13% derivation is the fund set aside to assist oil-producing communities tackle infrastructural decay and degradation. Recall that the Niger Delta region has gotten trillions of naira constitutionally accrued to it through 13% derivation for over 23 years, with over 600 billion naira of that sum already gotten in the first half of 2024. But successive governors from the region have not been able to better the lots of the communities, as people still live in squalor, diseases, and reeking with the worst and highest form of poverty. Despite the seeming despondent economic state of the in January, 57.92 billion naira was released to oil-producing states. In February, it rose to 85.10 billion naira. And in March, the Niger Delta oil-producing states got 166.24 billion naira. The sums were 90.12 billion naira, 120.45 billion naira and 106.50 billion naira for April, May and June respectively. ATN investigation in these oil-producing communities reveals the abject living conditions of residents: no electricity, no drinking water, no roads, and a total lack of basic amenities. 13% oil derivative funds to 9 oil-producing states from June 2023 to May 2024 allocation in 1 year. Delta received 211.69 billion, Akwa Ibom received 127.77 billion, Bayelsa State received 115.53 billion naira, River State received 110.96 billion naira, Edo State received 22.36 billion naira, Ondo State received 19.45 billion naira, Imo State received 8.88 billion naira. Anambra State received 6.76 billion naira. Abia State received 5.03 billion naira. Is there anything commensurate to show for the large inflow to the states? What are the governors doing with these funds? Asim, what do you have to say to this?
What I have to say to this is that it's a sorry sight, and I feel that debauchery at its best. That is what I will say by those who govern or rule these particular areas. Before I go on, I would like to make a quote that Luther King Jr. one use. He said, we need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Leaders not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. Now, if you look at what Luther King summarized about good political leadership and leaders, you find out that he was directly, or he is talking directly to people who govern the South-South region, or the Niger Delta region as they call it in Nigeria parlance, to the extent that we don't need leaders in love with money. But I dare say, and I want anybody to challenge me, that leaders who are governors in the South-South are in love with money. He also said that we don't need leaders who love publicity. I dare say, for anybody to challenge me, that leaders and governors of the South-South Niger Delta are all governors who like publicity. On a daily basis, you see them. Luther King now went further to say that we need leaders who are in love with humanity. I dare say, with due respect to their offices, that the present governors of the Niger Delta region do not have humanity in them and don't care about humanity. They don't empathize with their people they rule. Debauchery and hedonism is what they practice. Debauchery is eating gluttonously, drinking, at any moment you like, because you have free phones, open and close, to use. Some of them who are governors today will never do well in their profession. I respect you, your office, but that is the truth I'm telling all of you. That those of them were unknown before they now came to prominence today, and they now become emperors in the Niger Delta region. Niger Delta region is the most emasculated, is the most starved, is the most harangued, is the most manacled in terms of development and infrastructure, both human capital development and infrastructural development. All the roads in the Niger Delta area today are like crevices and caves that you cannot drive through. The East-West Road, for an example, is a death trap. Apart from that highway in India that claims about 1,000 lives every year, the Niger Delta East-West Road is the second most dangerous road on earth. And it lies in the belly of the Niger Delta, as we call it. The people in the Niger Delta live in squalor. There is no city, as they call it in the Niger Delta. Is it Port Harcourt? Is it Asaba? Is it Benin? Is it whatever? Go there. People are suffering. No drinking water, no electricity, unemployment, as the case may be. Now, a particular government, the government of Obasanjo, saw this happening based on agitations by some indigents from Niger Delta about economic emancipation of the region, and set up the NDDC. And also went ahead, another government set up what they call Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. And the thinkers, those who couched the Constitution in 1999, also realizing that the Niger Delta that produced the golden egg for which the nation feeds on, has been brutalized and dismembered. Now add a proviso to Section 162 of the 1999 Constitution. Otherwise, Section 162 in terms of Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission, that once the National Assembly has to approve in tandem with the RMAFC, that they have to distribute. Before then, how do you distribute or share the allocation? You share allocation based on population of the state, land mass, and also what they generate, internally generated revenue that comes in. That is why you find out that a state like Kano has 44 local government or whatever as case may be. They always are among the first 10 in terms of allocation. But to whittle this down, you know, and ameliorate this up, because people were grumbling, the cultures of this constitution improvised and now put in that proviso of 13% derivation in section 162 sub 2 3, that 13% derivation be paid to states like Niger Delta, where those things, whatever, you know, comes from, the oil comes from. And that 13% derivation, after they have shared the allocations, then they now share another 13% derivation, which is the one you read out just now. A state like Rivers State got close to 150 billion. States, all other states that had monies around them, if you put Anambra, Edo, and the rest, they are not even up to what Rivers State collected for the period in view of about 6 months. But today is a typical example of a failed state in terms of economy, in terms of politics, in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure. As I speak to you, there is no potable drinking water in Rivers State. As I speak to you, you also find that not in Delta State, not in Bayelsa State, not in Anambra, not in Edo State, Akwa Ibom State, none. You cannot find an infrastructure development that you'll be proud of in Rivers State. Likewise, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, etc. Those states are composed of the Niger Delta, as the case may be. Human capital development is lacking. The youths are roaming the streets in Port Harcourt and other cities in Rivers State. So they roam the streets in Asaba, Delta State, and other parts of Delta State. They roam in Imo State, Edo State, etc., as the case may be. Niger Delta has become a hell. Oil in Niger Delta has become a curse to those who are there. Now the question which you aptly put is, what are the governors doing? During the End Bad Governance protests that took place recently, the youths were misinformed that they could not hold their governors accountable. They were running to their governors to go and protest and say they are delivering letter to their governors to go and give to President Tinubu in Abuja. But the man you are seeing in front of you has extricated himself as if he did not participate in the malfeasance, and he did not participate in the debilitating poverty and palpable hunger and starvation you are facing that talk about the End Bad Governance. They thought that End Bad Governance is just about the federal level. But today, it has been exposed that your various states where you did those particular End Bad Governance, whatever, that you politicize, as the case may be, that the governors you submitted letters to are those who are eating you dry. What have you done to them? You ululate them, you hobnob with them. The governors spend at will and caprices. The governors spend on campaigns. They spend on solidarity visits. Rivers is an example. Let us not exempt ourselves. They campaign, they spend money. Rivers State has become Port Harcourt has become the capital of solidarity visit in the world, where all manner of NGOs and characters will form themselves into an amalgam and now go to state and say we pay obeisance and loyalty. It has now become a mecca of sort. And as they are living, we hear that things were given to them, to the extent that even how profligate can a state be, an executive be, to the extent that even during the End SARS, the End Bad Governance, the citizen number one told them he wants to give them money to buy pure water. That was sorry sight pitiable, and at the end of the day, tells you the history of how the monumental malfeasance and humongous waste of resources has abound in Rivers State, near the Niger Delta. The governors of the Niger Delta today, they host their party conventions. Even when they don't host it, they go out to go and host people in the north, those states that are not as rich as these states in the Niger Delta. They go there and vitalize and color it. And that's why you find out that after the meeting, they say they support this, they support that. Because something has gone under. It has become a sorry sight. So, what are we asking ourselves? Monumental corruption is the bane and is the reason why you find that we find ourselves in this particular state. How be it that this particular region, as they call it, has the NDDC, has the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, and also benefit from 13% derivation, and also draw from the allocation, federal allocation account of the federation. So you have 4 leeways that they make money. Come to Rivers State, for example, where I live and stay, and I pay my tax. I find crime, poverty, hunger, unemployment on the streets. And it's a sorry sight that instead of people looking at the fundamental issues of why this emasculation has continued, many are playing politics. Politics of belly structure, etc., stomach infrastructure. You know, I am short of words, and I don't know any further words to describe, but I want to say with due respect to them that profligacy is a hallmark of governance in all the Niger Delta states, especially River States, as the case may be. So we want them to have a rethink and begin to look at the people, like Martin Luther King said, that not leader who loves publicity is not leader who loves money, but we need a leader that loves humanity. I want to tell all the governors in the Niger Delta region, especially River State, love humanity. Love humanity. Shun bandwagon popularism and support. It will not help. It goes nowhere. It makes us follow the more. Because as we walk on the street, working cops are all over the place. Not because the region is not rich, but because of the fact of mismanagement, squalor, and poverty, which has been politicized. It's not a weapon that is being used in this region. Right. It's a big shame.
Now, Asims, you spoke about River State and how the governor gave pure water money, offered pure water money to the protesters during the protest. And you also talked about the people, you know, putting so much pressure on the federal government. Meanwhile, the state governors, according to you, are the ones who are actually culpable in the real sense of the word. Now, let's look at River State, since you brought it down to River State and you're a resident here. Let's look at River State. Aside from the 13% derivation fund, not forgetting that what accrued to River State, you know, it's 110 billion naira. Now, between January 2024 and May 2024, River State has received over 400 billion naira in FAC and IGR. Now, one would wonder, in your opinion, would you say that you're seeing development, you know, that is commensurate with the allocations that have entered River State? You know, not forgetting, of course, the 13%. The 13% derivation is strictly for oil-producing communities. But when you look at it, you know, I want you to periscope on the jobs, the jobs, the developmental strides of the governor so far. Would you applaud the governor? Has he been doing well in face of the amount of monies received by River State?
He's not been doing well. You have not even added the IGR that is generated monthly. Now, if a state like River State withdraw from these 4 planks or 5 planks, FAC, which is the normal one they share among states. 2, the NDDC is based here. The headquarters is in Port Harcourt. The Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. Then you now have you know, the 13% derivation that is gotten and the IGR. That gives you about 5 streams of income, not yearly, monthly, coming to the state. And the state should be grossing about 300 billion or thereabout in a month. Let me not be extravagant. Let me put that. Let me say it's 100 billion that the state receive. See, if a state that receives 100 billion, you will see development. Lagos is an example. Whether they borrow money, if you go to Lagos, you must see changes. You travel to Lagos, the next 2 weeks you are going back, you are seeing changes happening on the streets. River State has become a glorified city. There is no activity going on right now here. Of course, before now, during the period of the SY governor, we saw projects that were being commissioned. Bridges were being built all over the place. People were saying, hold up here and there. Roads were being constructed. The only industry right now in River State is politicking and bandwagon effect of solidarity visit when elections are still far away. That is what is going on right now in River State. There is no development. If you go through River State, the only visible construction work going on today is the Ring Road. And that was a project that they confirmed and affirmed was initiated, paid for by percentage, etc., by the SY administration of yes, so weak as case may be. So where lie their own? Even the other road, the HA, whatever, was a road that could not be completed during the weak administration. And that is why you find that in the next 3 months, they will conclude it. And so many are numerous projects that were not completed, which they are commissioning. All the things they have commissioned for the 1 year in office they have done were done by the administration of Isowike before now. So I asked them and I dared them to reel out the new projects they have initiated. The other day I saw a local government chairman came and said he has done one road from Aluto. I drove past that place some days ago. The road is still in tatters. But in the audio media space where they occupy right now, they took it as a road that has been commissioned by. I said, who said so? Is it possible? So River State has been a profligate state, a state that has wasted its resources. We have never seen this happen before. Even during Amechi's time, we saw monorail going on, even though it did not complete it. We saw a project he initiated, as the case may be. We are asking and challenging this particular government to show us where they have initiated a project and they are about completing it. Commissioning done is not by this administration. It was done by this administration or the projects of the last administration. So the new ones we are asking them. The educational sector is in shambles. The healthcare facilities in River State is in dire straits and need. As I speak with you, transportation is comatose and in abeyance, odious, and very, very perfidious. For anybody to come and say that they provided some buses, what they call promise kept and promise made, promise kept. Those buses, some of them are lying by the roadside, all dilapidated and spoiled. I have not ridden on them. I have watched on the popular NTA road to tell me whether I will see those buses. I have never seen one for the past 1 week or the other. So where is the amelioration coming from?
They said human capital development.
Is it the human capital development? What is human capital development? Can they tell me how they are developing the human capital in River State as case may be? Human capital development should not be like what they said they did in Akwa Ibom, where they said human capital development is taking place in Akwa Ibom, but you find out that majority of the youths were riding Okada.
Okay.
I hope it's not going to be that kind of human capital development. Maybe their human capital development is to develop the youths and give them money on a daily basis, 50,000, to go and drink beer.
All right.
In the daytime, 9 a.m. walk around the streets, go to pubs, you see boys drinking, doing nothing. So what are you talking about? The River State, youth development project, what has happened to it?
All right, barrister.
As the case may be, it's a sorry sight. So please, let them stop deceiving us.
Okay.
And face governance squarely so that we know where we are.